Our lives today are busy and so complex, filled with competing priorities and demands for our time and attention. Family, work, hobbies, health, home, maintenance, social life, finances, church and spiritual activities. We find ourselves asking every day, how do we manage it all? How should we allocate our time, attention, and resources across all of these competing dimensions of life? In short, how do we fit it all in? Do I need to fit it all in? What things should I be saying no to? We hear everywhere the key is proper balance. If we can perform the balancing act just right, achieving work-life balance, and keep all the plates spinning, then we'll be a success. But can you really balance your work with keeping up with news and social media? Would you really trade better relationships for career status or financial gain? Can your heart and mind actually treat everyone and everything the same? Here's the truth. You cannot have a balanced life without a true center. Consider how a scale works. A scale is able to balance things because it has a weighted center. Its ability to weigh things comes from a firm foundation. Those who follow Jesus have a distinct advantage when it comes to managing priorities. The distinction is this: Christ in us, the hope of glory. As a child of God, you are in Christ, and Christ is in you. Christ is your center. You're no longer living your way, but by faith in Christ, who loves you and gave his life for you, giving you the peace, purpose, and power to live his way. With Christ at the center, all other things can be weighed and evaluated properly. Everything, our hearts, minds, and actions, become an overflow and expression of Christ, our center. Okay, that's good stuff. But you might be saying, how is this practical for life and work? The truth is, everything Jesus tells us is practical, but he boils it down to these two commands. Jesus tells us the first commandment is to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and all of our strength. Understanding the great love God has for us fuels us to love him back, surrendering our hearts and lives to him, repurposing all of our life for one thing, a response to his mercy. All of life and work is an opportunity to worship and glorify God. The second part of the centering command is this: love your neighbor as yourself. This means that every situation that involves or impacts people is for the purpose of loving them. When we approach our relationships in love, we not only bless others, but in partnering with them, we begin to renew culture, redeeming the earth under God's will, making all things new. Just as loving and worshiping God glorifies him, so does loving others and renewing culture in his name. All of this is the way to glorify God. This means that everything we do is for his glory. Our words, our work, relationships, all of the decisions we make. This applies to every aspect of our lives and is perhaps easiest to see in our personal relationships. Let's take marriage for an example. This may sound crazy, but our number one job in our marriage relationship is to love God first. It's honoring to God for us to bless and care for our spouse above ourselves. Then together, a healthy marriage creates a family that renews culture, a lot of culture, as we influence our neighborhoods, schools, friends, and churches. The same principles apply to our work. Nothing is apart from God. Our work is an opportunity to love God, bless others, and renew culture. All of life is a chance to worship. Work is worship. And when we give our work to God, focusing on the needs of others, real flourishing starts to happen in our workplace and communities. We see and influence cultural renewal. Everyone's plate looks a little different. Think about your own situation. What key decisions are you facing? What parts of life are competing for your time and attention? Consider Christ and his love for you. Responding to him, knowing him, and loving him is your highest priority. Or perhaps better said, taking on his way of making decisions is life-giving. Center your values on Christ. He is your life. This truth allows you to make very practical decisions in everyday life and work as you consider: how will this decision help you know and honor God? How might this situation best serve the person who needs you? How will this action benefit the community or world around you? Every decision, every dimension of our lives is an opportunity to worship and glorify God, putting our love of God and our gifts to use for the benefit of others, for His ultimate glory, transforming the world around us. This is how you make decisions in a world full of competing priorities, by depending on your greatest asset, Christ in you, the hope of glory.